All right. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the next installment of Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show. I am your host, Letha Thornton, and myself and the good folks at cmpradio.net seek to move the culture forward as it pertains to money and finance. So, we have had a host of shows to help you to gear up to be financially free in 2023, talking about building a strong financial house, getting our credit right, our business credit right, how to start a business, what you should do to get it moving. Just a bunch of different things. We've talked about crypto, we've talked about investing, we've talked about life insurance, all the things that maybe you might be not as knowledgeable about, but definitely want to get started in. So, last month we had what we call an entrepreneur spotlight, where we showcased several entrepreneurs who are building businesses and doing some awesome things. So it was such a success last month, where now we're going to do this again, and we are going to have another entrepreneur spotlight. And we have four individuals today who have some really awesome businesses and nonprofits that we are looking to showcase. So what we will do, like we did last time, is we are going to introduce each person one by one. We're going to have them tell us who they are, what their business is, and a few other things. And then we'll bring them all back at the end for an entrepreneur roundtable, where we'll discuss some of the ups and downs, pros and cons of being in business for yourself. But it is so worth it, and we want to use that as a platform to inspire you to get moving and start that business. So the first person that I'm going to bring up is Miss Melanie Henry of Melly Inspires. Are you with me today, my dear?
Yes, I am here. Hello, everyone.
Hi, it's so good to have you on, my dear. All bright and shiny and looking all cute. How's
Yeah.
everything?
Thank you. Everything is wonderful. Thank you for, you know, inviting me. So
It is
excited.
my pleasure. As I tell people all the time, the social media platform has allowed me to really run into some awesome, awesome people. And I came across your business in a Facebook group. And I said, this is somebody that I have to have on because of how much self care, building relationships, and learning about ourselves to be our best selves. I wanted to bring you on and kind of have you talk to the audience about your business. What state are you in?
I'm in Virginia.
You're in Virginia. Okay. So I don't want to bore people with your bio, like, reading a bio to them. Just tell us a little bit about you and how your business came about.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Melanie. I am a mom, wife, serial entrepreneur. I have several businesses, but my most passionate business is a business that I just created. I've been dealing with it for over a year now, but I finally launched it this year, early January. And pretty much I'm the CEO and founder of Melly Inspires. And what I do is to help successful women who are struggling to find a balance between self love and success to attract meaningful and fulfilling relationships in their lives. And I do this by providing a unique combination of forgotten knowledge. Okay, so it's forgotten knowledge and self care practices. And that's pretty much what I do. I believe that, like you said, self love, self care is so important. And you can have all the money in the world, you can have all the success in the world. But if you don't have meaningful and fulfilling relationships in your life, it wouldn't mean anything, actually. And you will more than likely lose it all because you're not happy. I believe that our emotions is attached to our money. So if your emotions is not happy, guess what? If your emotions is not good, your money is not going to be good. And I
Absolutely.
experienced that personally on my own. So the power is within us. That's what I believe. The power is within me, and I create the life that I want. And I'm teaching other women to, utilize the power that they have so they can attract all that they want, not only just personal relationships, but also experiences as well.
Absolutely. I can hear the passion all through your voice, that you are so serious and dedicated to helping others to be inspired, and create those positive relationships with yourself as well as others. I know that you said you're a serial entrepreneur, which is awesome. But what would you say was your number one reason for really getting this off the ground and running? Like what when you were like, okay, this is it, I know I want to do this.
When again, like I'm into real estate. I did real estate wholesaling. I did medical supply business, all types of stuff. And those things made me money. Good money. But I realized again, like I told you, I was not fulfilled. I
Mhm.
looked at the relations that I had around me. They were great people, but I'm a unique individual,
Mhm.
and I feel like we all are unique in our own way. And if we don't have people in our lives that get us, that understands us, that can relate to what we like, and that's pushing and moving you forward, then again, life means nothing, and I was just tired of just having unfulfilled relationships around me. And I
Mhm.
believe God, the Most High, whoever everyone called them, I believe that I didn't ask for becoming a self-loving relationship coach. I just walked into my purpose. I was being obedient. I believe that I've been through all of those challenges and all those types of relationships, so I can recognize and see that success is more than just success. It's success is relationships, having all that meaningful, fulfilling relationships in your life. So I feel like God put me to the test to, say, hey, Mel, you gotta go through these tests. I can show you how these relationships is, so you can go ahead and get through it and attract the right relationships that you want. So when I started working on me, when I got tired of pouring into everybody, because I was pouring into everybody, I was
Empty cup, your cup got empty.
my cup was empty and depleted. And that's when God was like, okay, let me knock you on your tail now. Now you learned the lesson. So now it's time for me to knock you on your tail so you can pour back into yourself. So I did that. I poured back into myself. People around me wasn't appreciating the value, having me next to them, all the resources, because I share my resources now. I share my information because that's who I am. I love to pour into other people. I love to see people be successful as well. But those people did not appreciate that. So I had to pour back that energy and pour back into my own cup. And when I did that, I'm like, what in the world? I should have been done this all along. You know, selfish is amazing, and it's not selfish to be selfish.
No.
To pour into your own cup. So me pouring into my own cup, I just I looked brighter, I was healthier, I was happier, and then I start attracting more people that was also on their healing journey, because me pouring into in my own cup was me healing myself. Me healing myself, and I started attracting people that was also on their healing journey, or people that was actually already healed. So then these people was pouring into my cup, and I'm like, wow, it's different when you have people really pouring into your cup, want to give you things, and you haven't even given them anything for them to even want to. But when you start loving on yourself, you're going to start attracting people that's going to love on you the way you loving on yourself. I always say, you set the bar. I set the bar. So I wasn't setting the bar high because I was depleting myself. I had an empty cup. So all I'm telling God is to send other people that's going to drain even more from my cup. But when I pour into my cup, I'm telling God to send me people that's going to pour into my cup as well. People that their cup is overflowing as well, and they want to pour into my cup with the excess amount. So yeah, I was a firm believer when that happened to me, and I know I can passionately teach other women to do the same thing, because a lot of times we complain about, why am I attracting this type of man? Why am I attracting this type of friend? Why are they jealous of me? Why I'm attracting these type of partnerships and business relationships? What is going on? It's because you're not pouring into your own cup, boo boo.
That's the God's honest truth, right?
Yes.
I think we look at a lot of things on social media,
Mhm.
and I know that there's a false reality where you think people are living their best lives, but people are really drowning in a lot of ways when it comes to the very topics. When if I were someone that came to you, how would I get started? Because my cup is empty, I'm broken, I might have a business or I might work a job, but I'm just feeling depleted. What are some of the things as a new person coming in the door are some techniques or some things that you use to get them moving on the journey to self-love and better relationships?
Okay, well, I take my clients on a healing journey. And the first part of that healing journey is self-discovery, right? Discovering who you are. That's the forgotten knowledge that I teach them. Discovering who you are. In order for you to know what you're going to need, you got to know who you are first. Right, you got to know what you need in your life that's going to allow you to thrive. So I teach them, I take them on a journey where they can discover who they are, self-discovery, so they can know what they need. And then we go on to the self-care, and pouring into your own cup again. A lot of times we have children, we're married, we work a lot of jobs, we fall off, and we don't take care of ourselves like we used to do. But that makes us feel good as well. Is self-care is not only on the outside, it's definitely inside. That's why I say self-discovery first. You gotta discover who you are, and that starts with the mindset and all that stuff. You got to discover, where you come from, your environment. A lot of our environments, that childhood trauma, that trauma and all that stuff, it shapes our environment. It shapes how we look at relationships. So we have to go within, and that's self-care to reshape that, to start having that positive self-talk to ourselves and know that we deserve love. We know our worth and things of that sort. So I just take them on a healing journey, the same journey that I went on. I take them on the journey, learning how to let go. I teach them how to let go and set boundaries. So we must do that. In order for us to allow more the new to come in, we got to get rid of the old.
Very
And
true.
we have a lot of people connected to us that don't want the good for us, so we got to be able to recognize that and let go. And even things that we do in our own life, we have some things some bad habits that we need to get rid of that's holding us back. Maybe certain types of food, hanging around certain types of people, going to certain places and things, so that letting go, you have to let go, be willing to let go. And then we go on maintaining that, again, that positive self-talk. That's maintaining. Once you do all of that, you find out who you are, you start loving on yourself, you start letting go of people, places, and the things that don't serve you. Now it's time to maintain that, with positive self-talk, speaking what you want into existence, right? And knowing how to do that, because it's the way you do it. And then releasing, having a way that you release, all this energy. Because one thing about it, we still going to attract all types of stuff going on in our lives. We're going to attract types of people. But guess what? You're going to be able to discern at that point. But you can't use that discernment, that good gift that God gave you, if you are clouded up and you got a lot of stuff going on. You're going to allow a lot of type of people to come into your life, because I did that. I was not using discernment. I was not at all. So I was getting tricked and, all types of stuff, but my mind is clear now, because again, I poured in my own cup. I discovered who I am, what I needed. I let go of the people, places, and things that did not serve me. And now every day I make sure that I'm on my own calendar and I'm releasing and I'm in peace and harmony with myself.
Woo!
So that's what
Wee. Listen, I felt like I tried to pick people who, even if they were out of state, people could still relate to and connect with. Is your business like online? Are you servicing people all over?
It's online. I service people all over. I have clients in all different states. And we do this virtually, we do this virtually. Yep.
Nice.
I do
Okay.
one-on-one and group coaching. That's what I'm moving on to now. But right now I'm doing a lot of one-on-one coaching, because I get a lot of people that really hurt, and they, and I love what I do. I love it because I know there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I just got to help
Mhm.
them see that,
Mhm. Your energy definitely comes across the screen, and it is so much appreciated and refreshing to be able to have this kind of purpose and really serve people in a way that healing. I heard you say healing, breaking yourself down. What is it that's causing some of these things? Money trauma. We did a show a couple of weeks ago talking about the trauma that comes from not having too much money or not having enough money. And when your emotions are out of whack, you make bad decisions with your money and relationships and things like that. So I just think that you are pretty daggone awesome. And I'm super super glad that we connected. If people wanted to reach out to you, and we'll recap again at the end, but how do people go about connecting with you if they wanted to um, take on a coaching session?
Okay. I have a Facebook page. You can connect me there. I have my links all over my Facebook in my bio and my cover. There's a link that you can click on and you can schedule a meaningful relationship or a clarity call, where you have a few questions that you have to answer before you jump on a call with me, but it's free. And then during that time, we can dive deep and I can give you some tactics and strategies. And you can either do it on your own, implement it on your own, or you can hire me to help you and hold your hand along the way. You also can reach out to me on Instagram at Melly Inspires. You can visit my website at www.mellyinspires.com, and you can also book your call there as well. So that's how you get in contact with me. We got to get that call first so we can see if we connect and vibe together, and then we can go from there.
Fantastic. So you got the information, people, right? You have this lovely individual here really telling you that it's definitely time to get started in working on yourself, whatever your goals and dreams are. If it's to get a promotion, if it's to start a business, whatever it is, there are some things that you might have to take a look at first. And I can't think of anybody better to reach out to, if you can hear her passion and her vision and the things that she definitely wants to help you to be your best self at. So we are going to bring you back shortly for the Entrepreneur Roundtable, where we're just going to be giving some tips and things to inspire a little bit more. So I'm gonna have you go back in the back of the studio, so you can just mute your camera and your voice, and I'm gonna introduce the next person. But I can't wait to hear some more from you.
All right. Thank you. See y'all
You're
soon.
welcome. See you in a moment. All right. So the next individual that I'm going to bring on, and I this is somebody else that I just met along my journey as I'm building relationships and really looking to put on meaningful programming. I did this person is a little bit more local, and I reached out to her just to talk about her nonprofit that she has going on. Miss Sharice Brown, are you there? Sharice, you got to unmute your camera and your mic.
I'm muted. Can you hear me?
There
Can
you
you hear me?
go. I can hear you, my dear. So we have Miss Sharice Brown Torres, the
Yeah.
CEO and founder of Pushing Through Inc. How
Yes.
are you today?
I am well, and you?
I am fantastic. I want to thank you for getting on the show today.
Yes.
I was intrigued by an event that you are getting ready to have. And I just wanted to share with the viewers, because I don't just want to have people on a show. I want purpose,
Yes.
and I want to bring meaningful things to people that match up. So I tried to pick entrepreneurs who were really going places and doing some awesome things, and really impacting their community. So just do me a favor and tell us about who you are. Talk about your organization, what caused you to get going, maybe a fun fact about you, and just share with the viewers.
Yes. So I am Sharice Brown Torres, and I am the founder, CEO, and president of Pushing Through Inc. Pushing Through actually came about in December of last year.
Mhm.
Um, in 2014, I lost a set of twins.
Mm.
Became depressed. Lost my faith in God. Became suicidal as well. And it was a really, really rough time that I had went through at that time. So
I'm
I had
so
to find
sorry.
my way back to myself, back to God, back to family. Um, in the meantime, I was searching for a way to get out of the slump that I was in after that loss. I had a chance to kind of seek therapy. In the process of seeking therapy, I had to pay out of pocket for my
Mm.
therapist
Mm-hmm.
because the people that were in my network through my insurance didn't align with what I went through.
Sure.
Fast forward to 2019ish or so. I had a lot of friends that were like, hey, you're out here helping everybody. You really need to start your nonprofit. My
Mhm.
wife and I had just moved to Delaware in 2020 as the pandemic hit, and we knew no one. So I had to kind of put it on pause for a little bit until I got a chance to learn Delaware, met some great people, and everyone kept saying, you're out here helping everybody. You're helping, you're helping. You need to start your nonprofit. So December of last year, we started Pushing Through Inc. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
What's Pushing Through's mission besides helping people to get through really tough times?
Yes, so we are dedicated to helping individuals cope with mental health struggles and traumatic experiences in a positive and supportive manner.
Mhm.
Through our organization, we want to provide resources and events where people can come together for a safe, judgment free space for healing, where people can come together and rise above the traumatic experiences and things that they have gone through. One of our goals is to provide paid therapy to our client, well, for our clients, to the therapists, so they can be able to, like I said, live a healthy lifestyle when
Mhm.
going through something traumatic, the loss of a child, the loss of a parent suddenly, domestic violence, all kinds of things that's going on in the world. The last few years, we all know that we all have been going through so much because we all went through something that we've never been through, which was COVID.
Absolutely.
So
Unprecedented. Yep.
yeah, and a lot of people's mental state just wasn't right, wasn't good, wasn't healthy. So it was time for us to really just start this so we can just get the ball rolling.
Okay.
Yeah,
Absolutely fantastic.
yeah,
There's so much passion in your story, and a lot of the times people's why, they say if you don't have a why that makes you cry,
yeah,
it's not the right why, right?
yeah, yeah.
So your why and the things that you're describing and how you push through, that takes a lot of resiliency and mental toughness and all the things that really, if you take a look at the world, people are lacking, and it's forcing them to break down indefinitely.
Yeah.
Not, I went through a rough patch. The next 5 years are going to be extremely rough
Hmm.
because I'm not able to understand that life is always going to happen, but how you respond to it is what matters, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So building up people's mental toughness and helping them to get to the next level, and embracing, some of the things that make up the
Mhm.
pain and the things that make up who we are. Although you lost your twins, you and be forever changed. You are a walking talking example of how you can in fact push through. I know you have some business partners and people that are working with you. What's the vision? I know you haven't hit a year yet, but what is the vision that you see for pushing through?
So our vision is really to be recognized as one of the leading organizations providing the tools needed for the trauma survivors to be able to have access to feel empowered, to feel confident, and to be healed in what they are going through. So that's one of our main goals right now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
talking about me.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. So I have a social work background, and my passion is always to help people to heal and get to the next level as well.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the vibe of the folks that I've had on today, who want to help empower and inspire people to really be their best selves. Talk
Yeah.
about your upcoming event that caused you and I to connect.
Yes. So July 29th in Dover, Delaware, we are having our very first annual Shop and Paint for a Cause, Your Mental Health Matters event. The event is going to have lots of other business owners that you can come out and shop with. And we also have one of my close friends that's going to actually be doing the painting, because we're going to have everybody that wants to come out and paint. Paint for a cause, to just come out, have a good time, bring the family. Children are, of course, welcome to come and paint as well. So we're going to have canvases for the children and adults. Come
Mhm.
out, paint, eat, shop, have a good time, just clear your mental for the day. Come and have a good time painting. If you want your painting to be green, it can be green. If you want it to be purple, it can be purple. Whatever you want it to be, just let it be. But we really want everybody to just come out and have a really, really good time. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was intrigued by that, and I wanted to reach out, and that's when I started to find out a little bit more about, what it is that you all do. What's the time? I know you said what's the date and time?
So it is July 29th, Saturday, July 29th,
Mm-hmm.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
10 to 2. Okay.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to networking, and
Yes.
I'm definitely putting it on my calendar
Yes.
to build on my network and my journey.
Yes.
So that's absolutely fantastic. What's a fun fact, Sharice?
Ooh, so most times a lot of people that do and don't know me like to laugh at this fun fact, but I have a 24-year-old son and a
Oh,
5-year-old daughter.
ooh.
So at his graduation, I was pregnant, and his friends are looking at me like, your mom is bringing another one in and you're leaving. Is she crazy? A lot of my friends were like, are you crazy? You're starting over. But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people who knew me and my story know that my 5-year-old is my rainbow baby.
Understood.
She's the baby that I had after I lost the twins in 2014. I had her in 2017. So
I see.
a lot of people I tell the story to, they like 19 years apart. Are you crazy? I said, yeah, but I had the babysitter.
How about that? Look at that. See?
So yes, 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 yes. Fun fact.
Okay.
That's a
All
fun.
right. That is a fun
Yeah.
fact. So
Yeah.
tell the people how they can get in contact with you, and if people wanted to do any volunteering or become a part of what it is that you're doing, how do they get in contact with you?
Yes, they can connect with us at pushingthrough.org.
Mhm.
We are also on Facebook and Instagram at Pushing Through Inc. Inc. So it's the whole word Pushing Through Inc. Inc. on Facebook and Instagram, and we are pushingthrough.org.
Okay. All right. Well, fantastic. We will bring you back for the roundtable, so you can talk about some of the things that you've been experiencing since December when you started on this journey.
Yes.
So I'll have you mute your camera and your mic, and then we'll bring you back shortly.
All righty.
Okay, okay. So this next gentleman, we do have gentlemen on here. We got one. Women have just been dominating such an amazing space in business. This is Small Business Month, by the way, and women have been dominating and starting a lot of different businesses. But the brothers represent, and I happened to find this gentleman, and was definitely he was someone else that I was intrigued by, because he has a unique concept that really can help a lot of people, in that when it comes to agriculture, and people are wanting to grow their own food and do some things like that. So we have Mr. Alaric Overby from the Green Side Up Farm community. Please come on, introduce yourself, tell us about your organization, what got you started, and we'll take it from there. So welcome, welcome.
Hello, 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 hello. How everybody doing? Thank you for having me.
You're
Um,
welcome.
my name is Alaric Overby. I'm one of the founders of Green Side Up Vertical Farms. Green Side Up is an innovative vertical farming company that specializes in indoor agriculture and alternative innovative farming techniques. So primarily, we don't use any soil. We recycle 98% of all the water, all the nutrients. We harvest in a third of the time of traditional farming. We also use up 98% less space. The produce that we grow is about 30% higher in nutrients, 30% higher in flavonoid, and 30% higher in yield. The reason that I got into this business, I'm from California. My background is in data center optimization and cloud and backup recovery. Uh,
Mm,
in 2015, I was actually working for a large company, Rackspace, out in Dallas, Texas. I had a coworker who actually lived in South Dallas, and I took her home one day, and that was my first real introduction to what they call a food desert. For those who aren't familiar with food deserts are those locations around the country where people don't normally have access to healthy and fresh produce.
mm.
Um, what I noticed with food deserts, these are primarily centralized in Black and Brown communities. I also realized and learned that these communities had some of the highest rates of diabetes. South Dallas had one of the highest rates of amputations from diabetes, low score rates, a lot of um, issues when it comes to childhood mortality in these communities. And it was all a direct result. The one common denominator they had in these areas was the fact that it was people's access to fresh produce and fresh food.
Mhm.
These areas had been dominated to a point where they didn't have local grocery stores. Those grocery stores are actually replaced by corner markets that actually served as grocery stores because people didn't normally have that access. Most of what they served in these stores are processed foods and fried foods, which
Colored like color the colors that on the
with
back of
all of
the
the dyes. Yeah,
the
yeah,
product, the
yeah.
dye.
So all of these things, and it presented a lot of health issues for those communities.
Mhm.
One, it increased the mortality of those communities. But one of the key things that I also noticed is that it affected a community's ability to generate neurotransmitters. So neurotransmitters, those things that allow us to basically make good judgment, how we feel, how we think, how we respond to different types of situations. And so these communities are mentally malnutritioned. And so
Mm.
that they didn't necessarily even have the ability to make proper decisions to get out of the situation that they're in. Because if you're focused on a daily basis is how you're going to feed yourself, how you're going to clothe yourself, there's no time to think about innovating your community, upgrading your community. And so what happened is that these communities are kind of left to die. And then what happens is that other people with money come in later on when the property value has gotten so low, when the community can't necessarily defend itself economically, and they come in here and they do what they call gentrification.
All over the United
And
States.
so, but a gentrification only, we've been trained to believe that gentrification is a bad word because it's something that's been used against us.
Sure.
Gentrification is just a matter of upgrading your situation. And the same way we take the time to upgrade our phones every year when iPhone come out with a new version of a phone, we upgrade our TVs and all that. We upgrade our cars, but we don't upgrade our lifestyles. We don't upgrade our communities. We actually move from our communities and move into other communities. And so all of our economics, all of our tax dollars goes into other communities. And
Mm.
what's left is a community that doesn't have the ability to even generate the necessary tax dollars in order to redefine and re-upgrade their own community.
Come on now.
So out of that, I started doing vertical farming out there in Dallas. This is my third iteration. I started off putting vertical farms inside of schools because I felt it was very important that we start teaching the next generation how to be able to feed themselves.
Mhm.
So going into some of these schools in Oak Cliff and in South Dallas, I realized that a lot of these young people didn't even know where their food came from. You ask them where tomatoes come from, they're gonna tell you aisle 7 at Walmart.
Right.
A lot of these communities never even been to a Whole Foods or a Sprouts or a Trader Joe's. You
Mhm.
know, so there's no real connection to where their food comes from, and if there's no connection to where their food comes from, then that means that we're building a generation that doesn't have the ability to be self-sufficient when it comes to feeding themselves, meaning that they will always need somebody to feed them. So what this does is that in these communities starts to perpetuate that issue when now we're passing down a generation of welfare instead of a generation of wealth.
Woo.
The young women, the young men, they're watching their parents get on WIC, get on EBT, get on Section 8, because there's no economics in the communities that they come from that reflect who they are. So there's nobody in that community that's black that owns a grocery store. There's nobody that black that owns a liquor store. There's nobody that black that owns the gas station. The only businesses that we have are, small corner store markets, some tax businesses, and then all of these kind of leech type businesses that feed off of the community but don't put anything back.
Mm.
So I moved around a lot, kind of doing a lot of work in these communities and setting up vertical farms and doing a lot of training. In 2019, I actually was recruited to go out to Oklahoma City, which had became the 10th largest food desert in the country, because they had just shut down this grocery store. And what I did is I proposed to the owners of the grocery store, hey, what would you think about setting up a vertical farm inside that grocery store? So what that would do for a grocery store that is traditionally a grocery store is a consumer of products just like we are. But this will reverse that model. It's reverse engineering a grocery store model to now make it a producer. So now we're training people in the community to actually grow the produce. That produce is put directly on them shelves, so it eliminates a lot of the logistical costs that went into actually sourcing your produce. So that took a grocery store from being at a 1% to 2% profit margin to a 5% to 7% profit margin. So I spent 3 years in Dallas setting up vertical farms. I actually had a 4-acre farm where I had about 9 30 by 100 greenhouses, because I need to understand all different aspects of agriculture and farming and what those challenges were. And then I came out here to Las Vegas, which is where I'm at now. And I connected with an organization called Nevada Partners, which is a large nonprofit who had just got $1 million to set up a STEM center.
Mm-hmm.
And I came in and kind of took over the STEM center by installing vertical farming in there and bringing all the different technologies related to agriculture, the new types of agriculture, into this urban setting. So we use everything in here from 3-4 different types of vertical farming systems, water treatment systems, drones, 3D printing, augmented reality, Web 3.0. All of these are necessary factors when it comes to how people are sourcing their food. And not only that, is that what we're able to do with this model now is actually transform a food desert into a food oasis. Because now if you're growing the best produce in what was traditionally called a food desert, now what that's going to do is attract all these other businesses that are all looking for local produce, which is a very high demand right now.
Absolutely.
Most produce is being sourced from around the country. Here in Las Vegas, they actually import about 98% of all their produce.
Oh my goodness.
So if I-5, which is the big freeway out here, I-15 got shut down, the city of Las Vegas would have about 3 days worth of food left. So this is about being sustainable. This is really our goal with this, and my goal with developing, building out this company was to help usher in the next generation of farmers, for one, because the average farmer right now is about 60 years old. And when you have an industry that reaches a threshold where the average individual working in that space is 30 years or up, then that industry is considered to be on its way to being extinct. So we're already double past that time. So we're not building any new farms. We're not building any new farmers. Kids aren't going to school to, wear a straw hat and, go work on some acres that my family had for 100 years, that's been sitting there dormant. They're not going to do that. So we figured out a way, how do you start to make farming a little more attractive, a little more sexy? And that's by introducing new technology when it comes to, how you're growing that produce. And so one of the things I did, we just got a grant to actually take over a 49,000 square foot grocery store that had been sitting in this community and not really operating or working.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're doing is that we actually installed 5 shipping container vertical farms inside of there. And so what that allows us to do now is basically grow and harvest up to 5,000 pounds per week of produce. So that means that the produce that we grow is enough to sustain the grocery store itself. And so we supply our own produce, but then it gives the ability to also supply a lot of the hotels and casinos that are actually on the strip, and also some of the other local restaurants and grocery stores within probably a 5-mile radius of us. And so our model is to create these micro farms that are strategically placed around the community and around individual cities that are in close proximity where the highest demand for that produce is. And so what that does, that eliminates a lot of the transportation miles that goes into sourcing your produce. And so that leaves a lot more money on the table for both the farmer and for the people in the community. It gives them a lot more access to healthier produce. And so our model is that by introducing produce in these communities at such a high rate where it becomes something that's very normal to them, that now they're buying it on a regular basis. Because now they're introducing it. So we also do training on not just how to grow the food, but how to prepare the food, how to prepare healthy food, healthy soul food, healthy Hispanic food. In by introducing it at that level, it's going to take some time, but now the community has become more used to having access to healthy produce. And when you have access to healthy produce, you start to have a healthier individual. When you have the healthier individual, you start to have a healthier community.
Well, damn. That's all I can say. It's some stuff I wrote down. Mentally malnutrition, that blew my socks off. Generational welfare instead of generational wealth. Your structure, you got, this is a whole different show. As we are looking to improve economically, if you could break, we're gonna have you back. Like it ain't even no question. Because I feel like you could go on for an hour talking about how this all works, and I think it's so valuable to our communities and everything that we're trying to do to educate people. Economic empowerment,
Absolutely.
through food and through produce and all of those things. I'm excited for your journey. I'm excited for your mission. I'm excited for the grocery store. This is something that needs to hurry up and spread across the
Absolutely.
country. We are close to Philadelphia. We are close to Chester, Pennsylvania. Well, I'm close to Chester, Pennsylvania. It's something that every community. You touched on how they bring the corner stores into our neighborhoods and they don't give back. The most you'll see is they got your baby picture up at the plexiglass window.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, but they're not giving back to our community. They're not doing any of those things, and they mark the food up because they charge you for convenience.
Mm-hmm.
You
They know
know,
you can't. They know you can't get it anywhere else. Now I got a
right?
guy in the store we taking over now had a box of cornflakes up there on the shelves for $9.39.
And it got dust on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been sitting for a
Okay.
minute. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a whole. As I
Yeah.
said, this is
See.
a whole different show
Yeah, and it's
because
not just in our.
our
Yeah, it's not just
it's
our community.
unhealthy.
Yeah, but it's everywhere. And it's every. And we didn't got caught up in this habit of waiting for somebody else to come out here and solve our own problems.
Mm-hmm.
But just like all the other ladies on before me, this is about self-preservation and empowerment. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're not empowered because we don't own nothing. We steal
Mm,
stuff because we don't own nothing.
mm,
We don't steal from ourselves.
mm-hmm.
So that's part of a lot of it's very psychological that we don't even realize, kind of like on the surface, that a lot of these behaviors are going on because they don't own it. It's not theirs.
Right.
But when you have something that's community owned, that kind of changes the game. It makes them think differently. When you start to employ the people in the community, you start to train the people in the community how to be a lot more sustainable. I spoke at a conference out here, indoor ag conference, and I spoke at it first in 2019 on the lack of diversity. It was the lack of black folks and lack of women in this
Mm,
industry and in this space,
sure.
across the world, because this is a technology that's a solution for food security. We can talk about
Absolutely.
all the different things and all the different issues when it comes to food security, all the different health and medical problems. And there's a lot of consultoriums and conventions, but nobody talks about how to go about securing the actual food.
Come
Like
on
our
now.
whole thing is about securing the food. You secure the food, you secure the economics. When you secure your food and economics, then you actually have some control over what your destiny is.
Come on. Listen, I gotta bring you. I'm gonna bring you back for the entrepreneur spotlight. I mean the round table. You done blew my socks off. I lost focus. Um, you know, I knew it was gonna be good. I just didn't know you was gonna drop it like that. And like I said, this is a topic for definitely another day, where you can
Absolutely.
really just break
Absolutely.
down all of that stuff. I'll be replaying all of this so that we can structure another show for you to educate the masses on how to get this done. So
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna have you mute your camera and your mic, and then I'm gonna bring you back after I'm done with this next gem that we got coming up. All right. Woo. There's some power on this show today. If you are not being blessed, I don't know what to tell you. There's something wrong. This next superstar that I'm going to bring up is Miss Andretta Jones, and I'll kind of tell you a little bit about her. I had her on before. She came on and she did an amazing job talking to our audience about business credit. She's a financial literacy educator and a licensed massage therapist. She's empowering the people that she is teaching about massage therapy to take control of their business, get business credit. She helped somebody today to learn about investments with in partnership with me. So I'm gonna bring you up, Andretta, and I'm gonna let you let it rip. She too, coincidentally, has a farm in Maryland. She has a farm in Maryland. She wears a lot of hats. And I just want you to give us a glimpse of who Andretta Jones is. Talk about your businesses. Talk about your why. Talk about what you want to see for your farm. Just bless us. Welcome to the show again.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Because it was cutting out. I'm out here in rural America. Can you hear
Right.
me okay?
I can hear you pretty good. I'll let you know if I can't.
Okay, good, good. So I'm Andretta Jones, and I own a wellness center in Dover, Delaware. I'm a licensed massage therapist, and I've been in private practice since 2007. I'm a continuing education instructor, and what that pretty much means is I teach other massage therapists. Once we've gotten out of massage school, we have to take continuing education classes to renew our license like every 2 years, depending on what state you're actually in.
Mhm.
I work with able-bodied clients, but my main role as far as my client base is I help caregivers at my wellness center who are able-bodied that can come out and get to me. As an end-of-life doula and an advanced geriatric care specialist, I work with seniors in facility, in hospice, and I help transition them into the spirit world. So the way that the financial literacy has come into my life is because I wanted to create a financial wellness day at my wellness center. A lot of times when we think about wellness, the last thing we think about really is money. Like as a licensed massage therapist, I am working with people that have Alzheimer's disease, dementia. So I am working on their mental stability and capacity, helping them to live their best lives during this period of time that they have left in this earthly existence. My
Mhm.
able-bodied clients, they're stressed out. They're caring for this loved one either at home or they're going to visit them at facility. The massage therapist that I'm helping as I teach and mentor them, I wanted to kind of help them in a way to become more owners. A lot of massage therapists are coming out of school and they're becoming employees, which is fine. But when you are an employee, you really don't have enough ownership of how much money you make, how much earning potential you're going to be, you're going to have,
Mhm.
what hours you actually want to have. And as I mentor them to move away from being employees to be more owners, what I found was the consistent thing that they kept saying is, I don't know how to fund my business. I don't know how to structure the business. I don't know where this money is going to come from. My credit is so jacked up. I'm a sole proprietor, but I don't even have the tools as far as money to kind of get things going to get a commercial space. So I just was kind of always helping them with credit. Always trying to find vehicles in which they can get funding for their business and not suck up their 401k. or for those
Sure.
who didn't even have a 401k, they're even just trying to figure out how to get a commercial space. But if you're a sole proprietor and your personal credit is jacked up, I need to help you kind of get that straight before we can kind of even move into these other entities. So CAJ Financial started last year, but I have been mentoring massage therapists for years. I have been teaching them for years, but I started to build onto this and try to partner with the company that can kind of help take a lot of the busy work off of my plate. Look at these other types of financial vehicles that I can introduce them to grow their business. So I wear a lot of different hats, but it all kind of comes around to wellness. The fun fact about me is, yes, I do own a farm. Out here in Maryland, because my husband, when he retired last year. He wanted to get back to farming. So even at my wellness center, I have days that I bring the produce that we actually grow, the eggs from my ducks and chickens and turkeys, into the wellness center. So today we're going to talk about financial wellness. Today we're going to talk about how this technique in massage is going to help you. And today we can talk about healthy eating and living, because wellness is in a lot of different rooms. And I just want to bring it all together in my wellness center, because I might not be your massage therapist, but I might be your financial educator. Or I have other places that I can fit you based on what your need is. And if this particular thing that I do is not your need, I am quite sure you know someone who needs food, massage, financial, financial help, or you know someone who needs to take a class for meditation, yoga, to de-stress a lot of that mental stuff that's going on. So all of those things are found in my wellness center, and everything has a day of focus so that people can kind of get what they need out of the center.
Wow. Listen. I sit a part of my self-care is to watch Andretta's videos of ducks being born, and the land and the fruit. You and Alaric have definitely tapped into something. I'm into nature, and there's so much healing in what you two are bringing as far as farming, and getting back to those things. But I just love the concepts that you have, and the how you're able to have wellness mean so many things, that help to make a person whole. So massage is huge. I'm giving a spa certificate to teachers for Teacher Appreciation Week, just because there's so much that needs to be released, and then to see you help other people and mentor them to do the same, to get funding for their business, to learn how to set things up, and just being inspiring and empowering to so many. We're going to do some really, really amazing things together, you and I. But I'm just overjoyed at the things that you're able to help people with. And what would you say where do you see yourself with your businesses in the next 5 years?
In 5 years is just really growing the center. I'm always looking for practitioners to bring on that have the same mindset that I do, that want to kind of have mindset, period, not necessarily like mine. Everybody is an individual, but who actually genuinely want to help people and listen to people, in which it's not always about, yeah, we need to make money. Yeah, we need to have financial stability. But if we do more in just the education piece, that money is going to follow. Like I always tell my students, stop chasing the money. Educate everybody, because when you educate people, people are going to automatically gravitate to you. There's 17 million massage therapists out there. What is making you stand out? And if you just educate, and that's what I do, I just educate about massage. When I go into facility, I'm talking about how I work with memory care, how I work with the staff as far as wellness, and because if you have a happy staff, your residents are going to be happy. The whole team is going to be happy. And all of that stuff, it always circles back, to the money at some point, because even though we are caregivers and we're givers, we still don't want to give to the point that we're broke. So a lot of times I even see massage therapists that will not increase their rates because they
Mhm.
want to help so much. But I always want to circle back. So I'm like, but how are you helping yourself financially? So
Sure.
that financial piece always comes back into play, even if I'm just mentoring them on massage and how to grow their business or how to get clients. It still always circles back to finances, because if
Mhm.
they are not making enough money to pay themselves, we got to fix it. If they
Sure.
don't have enough money to expand their business, we got to fix it. So I really want to see more growth in my center. I moved my practice from Baltimore in 2020. I, of course, transition in 2020, like the worst year to transition.
Right.
but the growth that I've had in Delaware in the 2.5 years, I counted as 2.5 because I wasn't able to open when I transitioned because of COVID. But it's always it's on an upward swing, and then I just basically just see better things for it as I bring more people on, offer different types of services, and open people's mindset up to different ways of looking at wellness.
Mhm.
It's just so many different ways that I think people just don't even think about. So that's where
Absolutely.
I want to see it. I just want to increase the education piece of it.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, I am just so pumped up and excited to see where you're going to be, how this is all going to unfold, partnering with you to bring some things to the center, and all of that. So I'm so happy to have met you. Tell the people how they can get a hold of you if they wanted to reach out to you to discuss any of those topics.
The best way to reach me is I do a lot on my personal page, my personal Facebook page. Yes, I have individual business pages, but the hub of everything, just follow me on Facebook under my name, Andretta Jones. That's where I kind of touch on things. And, my DM is always open when people have specific questions about any of the businesses or anything that may spark their attention. When it comes to CAJ Financial, texting fundability, because fundability means so much, to 443-994-3458, and we can set up a consultation. Because once I know what the needs are, I'll know if personal loans are needed, business loans are needed, business credit, whatever the gamut is, whatever the need is for your business. And I don't always just help massage therapists. I help other business owners as well. I lean, more towards massage therapists because I am one. And I know
Sure.
that we need help. Massage school has taught us a lot about being great service providers, but it never taught us how to be great business owners. And that's
Sure.
what I want to help other massage therapists do. So fundability, the 443-994-3458. And Andretta
Uh,
Jones, follow on Facebook.
I was just about to ask you to say it again, so I'm glad you said it again. So we're going to get ready to do the roundtable of entrepreneurs. Before that, we are going to pull over for a brief commercial break. As I continue to network with all of these awesome entrepreneurs who bring meaningful programming, I cannot say it enough how important, and they've talked about the things that you need to do to get to the next level. But as a licensed financial coach, the number one goal is to help as many people to build a strong financial house as possible. Coaching often separates the wealthy from the non-wealthy, as you can hear some of these coaches today talking. And so my energy, my focus, the reason that this show came about was because people were able to see my passion and my vision for helping people to become what we call financially independent, right? Making sure that we are building our financial house from the ground up, right? The first layer of building a strong financial house is life insurance, because if God forbid something happens while you're building it, right? Your investments, your college for children, your emergency funds, if something happens tomorrow, your family needs to be good. If your paycheck passes away, they're going to be mourning you, and they're going to be trying to figure out what to do when you're no longer here to provide the income. And people always say, I can't afford it. If you can't afford under $100 for life insurance coverage, then you're putting your family is really going to be in a bad way. If under $100 isn't good and you bringing in 23, $4,000, $5,000 a month, your family is going to struggle. But then as we pay off debt, we have more money to invest. plan for goals and dreams and things like that. People often don't know what it takes to do it. So I do a complimentary financial GPS with people that says, this is where I'm at right now. This is where I want to be. How in the world do I get there? We will put our GPS on in a minute to get us where we need to go, but we won't do it with our finances. We're just here. We're just working, living paycheck to paycheck, and nothing, no plan, no generational wealth that we're passing, largely due to a systematic situation of us not being able to be educated. But it's 2023. The information is out here. We are sharing all kinds of information with you to help you to level up. I encourage you. I too am on social media. See what your financial game plan looks like, right? My services are complimentary. The information I provide is complimentary. Whatever you implement is what you implement. But we provide free education to help you to get your money world right. Hence, Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show was born because of my passion to educate people to get their finances right. So you see me as Letha Thornton on Facebook, Letha without the L on Instagram. That's how I have to get people to know my name. I do have a group. Freeing Families Financial Services is the name of my business. And please, please, please join Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show group so that you can stay abreast of the relevant, worthy topics that we try to put on to provide meaningful programming for you. So now that I pulled over and parked for a moment, I'm going to bring back all of the entrepreneurs that we have: Melanie, Cherise, Andretta, and Alaric. I want you all to just spend a few more minutes with us because you all are entrepreneurs and you all are building some dynamic things, and you're working on helping people holistically to be better with their not just their mind, but their money and their resources and things along that nature. I'm still missing two for Andretta. And for Melanie, you can unmute your camera and unmute your mic so that you can come back in and join us. There's Melanie and there's Andretta. So I don't know. Do you guys feel the energy that just bounced off of this whole show just now, right?
Yes.
It's absolutely dynamic. I am so excited to have you all here and to just share and pour into the audience. Tell me, and anybody can go, what is one thing you wish you knew about your business or about business period versus what you know now? I guess if you could tell your younger self in business, what's the one thing you would teach yourself?
For me, it's not. For me, it was, these are not mistakes. These are not mistakes. They are learning opportunities. And to not stop just because it doesn't go right the first time. You know,
Sure.
I've had to pivot in my massage practice several times until I found the group that made sense to me, the people that I wanted to serve, which was our seniors who are just not served. People are not running out of massage school to go work with seniors and they're dying. They're just not.
Sure. Right.
So your purpose will come over time, even when it doesn't seem like you can't find your market. Just keep going, and you will. It will present itself, and the people that you need to get you there will present themselves too.
Absolutely. One of the things that someone said to me, I went to a conference and I heard that mistakes and failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success, you know, and often we let that self-doubt and the mistakes that we make take us all the way out of the game, and we delay our timeline for greatness, right? So that was fantastic. Anybody else want to add something, what you would tell your younger self in business versus what you know now?
I would tell them, you attract the type of customer that you are. You attract the type of client that you are, you know. So if you don't like the type of clients that's showing up, you might need to take a look at yourself.
That self-assessment is very, very important. That's a good one. That was a
Yep.
whole nugget. Absolutely. Alaric or Sharice, do you have anything you want to add?
I think the one thing for me, what I would tell my younger self is tough times don't last always, tough people do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because I noticed that, well, I am I have several businesses. So I'm an author of 23 self-published books. And
Mm-hmm.
my very first book was about me, losing the twins and everything that I went through in life. And I had to realize that it was like every time I turn around, something was going on. And I'm like, like, what is going on? Is God, like, does he not love me? Or
Mm-hmm.
why am I always going through this? I had surgery when I was 9, asthma, all these things. It's like always something. But I noticed the
Mm-hmm.
one thing about me was that I just kept going and going and going and going. It was like, keep going. And that's why I, of course, named my book and the nonprofit Pushing Through, because whatever I kept going through, I got knocked down 10 times, I got up 11. And I kept pushing through, kept pushing through. So I would definitely say, tough times don't always last. Tough people do. So, yeah.
That's huge. That mental toughness that we were talking about,
Yeah.
plays a really big role in how you push through,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely, Alaric, you got anything?
Kind of echoing what the lady said, but for me, it was primarily, really staying in the trenches, finding what your niche market is, and then,
Mm-hmm.
capitalizing off of that. I've been, since 2015, I've been the only one that looked like me in this space.
Yes, I'm
There's a
Mm-hmm.
sure.
lot of blacks that do agriculture and farming, but when it came down to it, trying to find other people and other partners across the country, across the world for the most part, that looked like me, that was in this space,
Mm-hmm.
is, that's, God has a certain purpose for all of us, so those things that we've gone through have prepared us to be exactly where we're at.
Yep.
So all of those different trials and all those different I mean, I came out of prison, you know, I was in
Mm-hmm.
prison from the time I was 17 to I was almost 31,
Wow.
and so, but I look at that for the fact of the matter is that while I was in prison, uh, I came out of prison with an A+ degree. I knew more about technology and computers than the average person on the streets, and so that allowed me and it gave me the ability to kind of tap into different markets where my skin color, my tattoos, all of those didn't matter. What mattered and what made the difference was what I knew.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of us come out of these different type of situations. We come out of different type of environments where we think all these chips are stacked up against us. But at the end of the day, if we start to look at those things as like Cherie said, those are tools. Those are learning tools. On how to move through your life. You
Sure.
learn different empathy and you learn different sympathy because you've had different types of experience that others don't have. And that's how do you use that to translate the product and the models that you're actually trying to propose? So it allows you to reach a lot more people than somebody who's had a silver spoon in their mouth, went to Harvard or something like that. They can't really get on the ground and relate to people. And the biggest thing about any of these business that we're all doing, I guarantee you the key component of it is relationship building.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I agree 100%. Which is why I think for everybody on here, everybody was eager to form a new relationship,
Absolutely.
right? Everybody that I've had on here, everybody was excited. Everybody was ready to get to come on to the show. And it's not because, oh, my business is this or my business is that, but to form relationships, be around like-minded people who can project some of the same things that you're projecting. It's just like I said, the synergy amongst this group right here, just in an entrepreneur spotlight, is huge, so I'm feeding definitely off your energy. You all seem to be feeding off of each other's energy, and that's what the networking and the connections and the building and all of that stuff is about. We can help each other in some way, through
Mm-hmm.
empowerment. So I'm going to say, your emotional intelligence is a huge thing when it comes to business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you can't act certain ways. You gotta think ahead. you have to learn how to let some things go that don't necessarily serve you. You know, it takes a lot to be in business, you know, and if you're letting everything upset you or you can't be productive because you're in your feelings, sometimes feelings don't belong in business. You
Mm-hmm.
know, what you do, especially in the world of money and finance, and our people being 250 years behind our white counterparts in the educational aspect of money, it can be very, very frustrating when you're on social media and you're seeing people not use their emotional intelligence, and it holds us back in so many ways, mentally and financially. So I would go with making sure that your emotional intelligence is on point when you're in business. I think that it makes or breaks how you conduct yourself.
Yeah.
So that is one. And I think we have time for one more question. Okay. So I guess what I will ask, what is a time that you felt extremely successful? I know that everybody has like a a time when they look back and say, "Wow, I did that. I did that." Talk about that with the people, because I think we don't get to celebrate the wins enough sometimes when we're starting a business or when we're in business. Just talk about a successful time that you've had so far in your business.
I'll
Anybody
start.
can go.
Okay.
Um, I've done a lot of different kind of kind of brown grading things, but I think the biggest accomplishment for me was actually getting my hands on a 49,000 square foot grocery store, and I just recently installed 5 shipping container vertical farms inside that store. So
Mm-hmm.
one thing I do know is that there's not a grocery store in the world that has a vertical farm inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be
So wait till
awesome. That's
I was
exciting.
about to say, wait till that catches on in these inner cities and things like that, right? This
Absolutely.
is only the beginning of what it is that you're going to do, and you know, hearing your personal story about, you know, being incarcerated and people not looking like you in this agriculture business, and things like that, and obtaining the knowledge and putting in the work. That is a huge testament to all your hard work. So that's very powerful. I'm gonna be following you because I can't wait to see all the
Yeah, I got to
things that
come to
you're going.
Vegas, man.
Yeah, I'm scared to go to Vegas, but that's another topic for another day. Um, but ultimately, you know, I definitely it's that's a movement you got going on. So I can't wait to see what that becomes.
Absolutely.
Anybody else want to share that moment where you like, I did the daggone thing. This is great.
I would say for me, because we are so brand new, we're not even 6 months old.
Mm.
So us just obtaining our 501c3 was very successful for us. And being able to have our very first event where it was called Sharing Our Stories. And we had so many people come out and was able to share their story of trauma, mental health, and all of the things that just went on in everyone's life over all of the years. We had people from teenage to almost elder, you know, come in and speak. And it was amazing because everybody took something from each person. You know, it's
Wow.
like you would think that this person didn't go through something, but because you don't look like what you've been through.
Woo.
So that was
Mm-hmm.
the big thing I think for us is that when you look at a person, you know, wow, you know, you went through this, you went through that. I had to realize when I went through my therapy, what early childhood trauma was,
Mhm.
and I didn't know what the difference between domestic violence and intimate partner violence was. It's
Mm.
two totally different things, and I had to learn that even as I went on with the nonprofit. So I think for us just becoming the nonprofit and getting out there, people, you know, getting to know who we are is the success for us so far.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And people really don't know how much goes into a 501c3.
Ooh.
You almost got to put blood on your dotted line when you sign, and it is
Mhm.
a
Yeah,
lot.
I had to sell my 5-year-old's limbs. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and that is a very huge accomplishment because some people quit right in that journey because it's a lot involved. So to see you push through and make that happen, that is huge. We got two ladies left. Either one of you can go.
And I'll go real quick. The accomplishment that I really love was bringing my business from Baltimore to Dover, Delaware. Just going into a new state, um, branching out and new connections. Because to be honest with you, I opened in Dover, Delaware, and did not have one client.
Mm.
Every single thing that I set up prior to it for 2020, it fell through. All of my contracts dead on arrival because I signed my lease agreement on March the 1st. And by March the 17th, everything shut down. So I could not even get into one senior center that I had a contract for. So what I'm most proud of is that some massage therapists never came back and reopened their business. I came
Yeah.
back to reopen my business, and I'm in Delaware Hospital now with a program that was approved. It took 8 months to get there, but it got approved. And now I'm able to bring this financial wellness to a wellness center in an area in which if you visited a spa or wellness center, you will never get a financial piece there. So it's something that's different in the community that hopefully will transcend into other, other communities so that we can see how that financial piece really makes sense, because if we're not financially well, we ain't well.
Mm-hmm. You ain't never lying. The impact, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
realistically, everybody on here is talking about the impact. It is not the money, and I'm more than sure that everybody on here did not get in it for the money, right? It's we're chasing impact. We're chasing how many other wellness centers can I get open? That's my vision for you, Andretta. Um, like I got visions for all of y'all. Like we'll talk later. But just the impact. We are chasing impact. We are chasing how we can help other people, and you will be blessed, and the financial abundance and everything that you seek will come if you are looking to be impactful versus chasing a bag,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So I'll let you go, Melanie.
Okay. I had a few successful moments, but one breakthrough for me was our elders. It's really hard to try to get through them that, money and working hard is not going to, you know, just make you live a healthier and comfortable life. So I had a breakthrough with a elder that she was, she's up there in age, 60 something year old. Most of my customers, my clients are, in my age range, younger 30ish age
Mm-hmm.
range. And the breakthrough was that the one thing that was missing, the reason why a lot of things was going wrong in her life, because the one thing that was missing was self-love, right? And we were going back and forth about that. She like, no, Melanie, my bank account, got to be stacked up before I can go out and love on myself and, pamper myself and do the things that I need in life. She said, but I broke through, we had a breakthrough because she was like, Melanie, you came through that screen, and you got on me, and you were so right, because she implemented some of the techniques and strategies that I told her. And she was like, I didn't know it was that easy, Melanie. I didn't know that was the missing piece, because soon as she started pouring into her own cup, as I stated, she started seeing changes. That job, called her, that apartment company accepted her application. Sometimes again, our mindset is what is the blockages,
Yes,
right? And that's not pouring
absolutely.
in our own cup. It's okay to take time. You don't got to spend a lot of money to love on you and comb your hair and do your nails. You can do that in your own home, and that can make you feel so much better, and that can remove blockages. So that was the breakthrough, because number one, she was an elder, and I know how they are. They're like, nope, no, you can't tell them nothing, you know. and she was open to it, and she actually implemented it, and she got some results right away. So now she just sold on Melanie. Melanie, I'm following you everywhere. Any question training you got, I'm on there.
Right.
So,
Again, making an impact, right?
right.
I think it's not so much for me, the one particular thing that happened, but knowing that our people are stuck in a rut when it comes to finances. We live for the now. We don't plan ahead. We
Mm-hmm.
don't want to necessarily talk about the planning ahead. It's for some reason it's like kryptonite for a lot of our people. But we got wigs, we got Jordans, we got all of these different things. So I just think that as I continue to build and network with people, to see people be changed or see people starting to catch on. They call it the woke culture or whatever, but starting to see our people really catch on and grab hold, whether it's through watching self improvement podcasts, whether it's watching Your Money Matters, whether it's, just catching on to seeing what other people are doing. I think that that's something that I would say overall makes me feel good about what it is that I'm doing. Because of the fact that people are so closed off when it comes to finances, to see people start waking up and paying attention and putting these things in place and asking questions and seeking help and learning. That was really where I got involved in financial services in the first place. I was watching people that work hard like me have no real financial guide, no coach, no purchasing power, no education, none of that stuff. And I wanted to impact people. I got a social work background, so I was like, who's gonna listen to a social worker talking to them about money, right? But to be able to see our people start to catch on is probably something that I would say makes me feel good about continuing to push through. That's such a hot topic, to push through and keep knowing that what I'm doing is impactful. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I we are like so over time, but each entrepreneur spotlight does run over time because of the energy and the things that are shared. Alaric, I don't think that I asked you, how can people get a hold of you?
Check me out on all the social media platforms. It's Green Side Up. Greensideup.farm is the actual website. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah, just greensideup.farm. You'll find us.
Okay, it's so important that you for all of these entrepreneurs, because they all are powerful in their own way. But I really feel like my mind has been expanded talking with each and every one of you. So I definitely didn't want to leave you out. You had kind of blew me away a little bit, and I forgot to ask. But so I encourage you to, at the very minimum, become friends or follow these individuals, because I
Mm-hmm.
promise you they're going to do some amazing things in their community and help people with mindset and all of those things, and economic empowerment and giving back. You can see every single person on here is giving back. It's not about them. It's about really helping others. So I strongly encourage you to connect with them and follow their journey. So I am going to let everybody go. I thank you so much for being on. And I'm going to be networking with each and every one of you. So I just wanted to show my appreciation for you being here. Um, if you have any, you want to share this, please share it with everybody that you know. We hope that the viewers will share, because this show was just so phenomenal. So we will conclude this episode of Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show. We hope that you will continue on the journey, so that we can take steps to becoming financially free, mentally free in 2023. So I bid everybody a good night and thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, everybody.
you.
My
Have a good
pleasure.
night.
Yeah,
All
Bye.
right. Good
bye.
night.